Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Head First Fishing. Thanks for checking out this video. Today we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about redfish spots in Tampa Bay. And if you don't live in Tampa Bay, you can take some of this information and translate it to where you live. So we're going to see a lot of different interesting points about where are the best spots in the bay to catch redfish. Really cool stuff. Before we get started, we got a couple things to get out of the way. First, thank you very much to St. Pete Fishing Outfitters, Tampa Fishing Outfitters, and Tarpon Fishing Outfitters, plus the Pike Consulting Group. They sponsor this channel. Check them out. Great companies. The tackle stores will outfit you for anything you need. You go by and visit them. Mention Head First Fishing for a little discount on your purchase. If you got a business in construction or manufacturing, call Mitchell at the Pike Consulting Group for your free safety consultation. Next, I'm very excited to announce that I was really happy with the performance of Francois on his first video. So we're gonna keep him, and I think if he keeps on doing what he's doing, he's gonna stick around. So I'm gonna reward him. He's gonna get his first kit of tech gear. So first up, we've got an iPhone. Then we've got him an iPad. Next, we got him a MacBook. Really nice device here. He's going to do a lot of video editing with this, a lot of 4K high-powered video editing. He's going to control the cameras. He's going to bring up maps. He's going to bring up video clips. Francois, I've spoiled you. Congrats on your first job. You've got everything you need to succeed right there. Congratulations, buddy. Enjoy it. All right, let's get started on today's subject. Where are the best redfish spots in Tampa Bay? Well, this kind of goes back to what I was talking about in part one of how to find and catch redfish. Part one is find the best habitat and do some networking and research and narrow down where those really good areas are. And a lot of times that's going to be your best natural habitat. I think that's probably almost 99% of the time going to be it. So if you get online, you can find a lot of information about where redfish are in your area, where the best stuff is. And for Tampa Bay, I have found a research report from the University of Southern Mississippi, from their Gulf and Caribbean Research Project Center Adventure. I don't know exactly. It says, publishing marine and coastal science research since 1961. Sounds like they might know a thing or two. So let's dive into this research report and find what kind of information is available for Tampa Bay. Francois, can you pull that report up for me?
Let's go!
All right, let's get into this report. Gulf and Caribbean Research, Volume 25. Looks like this came out around 2013. Spatial and size distribution of red drum caught and released in Tampa Bay, Florida. We're not going to look too much at the hooking factors. Basically, circle hooks kill less fish. You're going to throat hook and gut hook fewer fish if you're using circle hooks. J hooks tend to kill more fish. So as you scroll down through this research report, this chart really jumps out at you. This is a huge piece of intel that you can use to your advantage. If you look closely, stations 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 have the best concentrations of redfish. Scrolling down to table 1, it gives you even more detail about what's going on with these stations. I'll put a link in the description of this video for you to click on, and you can go through this report yourself. Table 1, summary of the number of redfish collected during hook and line sampling by station, including the mean number captured per trip, maximum, frequency of occurrence, and the ratio of red drum captured using circle versus J hooks. If you look at column N, stations 1 and stations 4 had the most redfish caught. Going back up here to the chart, tons of redfish at MacDill Air Force Base. You can't fish in there, unfortunately. That's a security zone, so I don't recommend you try going over there. Looking over here at Station 4 and even a little bit of Station 3, a lot of redfish congregated right here around the Alafaya River. That's a lot of redfish piled in there. You got tons of big dots and some smaller dots all over the place in here. A lot of good redfish there. Stations 5 and Stations 8, and really you could put 7 and 8 together, honestly. Both of these areas also have very large numbers of redfish. Definitely places that you want to check out. Let's go down to the results part. Monthly hook and line sampling. 324 hook and line sampling trips were conducted between April 05 and December 07. A total of 1,405 redfish were caught during these trips. Red drum were caught on about half of all trips and in all designated fishing stations throughout Tampa Bay. Habitat types and water quality characteristics, except temperature, were significantly different among stations. The habitat mostly targeted for fishing was characterized by overhanging vegetation, predominantly mangroves, that either contained SAV or was unvegetated with substrates of mud or sand. SAV stood for subaquatic vegetation, so that's probably grass beds. By fishing trip, the highest mean number of red drum were caught in stations 1 and 4, 6.2 and 6.4 redfish per trip, respectively. The fewest red drum per trip were caught in Station 9 on the southern shore near the mouth of Tampa Bay. Let's go back up there. So Station 9, there's definitely redfish there. You can see there's all kinds of different spots where they're catching them, but they're just not quite as concentrated as they are more up the bay. In the middle part of the bay or the upper part of the bay, there's a lot more large concentrations of redfish. I fish a lot in this area, and I'm definitely catching redfish, but it's interesting to know that the concentrations of redfish are more in the middle part of the bay. Red drum were most frequently collected on fishing trips to Station 1 and 3. In all stations, red drum were more often caught with circle hooks than with J hooks. Again, circle hooks are great, they do a lot of the work for you. Most red drum were captured with natural baits, primarily live shrimp, followed by dead natural bait, and live fish. The remaining 46 red drum were captured with artificial lures. Hey, don't sleep on artificial lures. If you know what you're doing, you can clean up on them. So let's hop over to Google Maps and look at these areas with really high density of redfish. Coming on in here, we got the Little Manatee River. Let's zoom in even more. Look at all this beautiful habitat here. Tons of great stuff in here. There's Cockroach Bay, boat ramp, a lot of activity going on there. Endless mangrove islands back here. Tons of places to get back in here and get lost. Tons of hiding places for redfish. Moving up here a little bit more. A lot of great habitat over here. Let's jump up above here. Now we're in the Apollo Beach area. A lot of great looking shoreline here. Let's go up here a little bit further. Up here by the Alafaya River. Nice looking oyster bars and mangrove islands up here. Tons of oysters up here. There's Bullfrog Creek. And there's the entrance to the Alafaya River. So as I've shown you, there's tons of great places for redfish to live in these areas. And this is no surprise that a lot of redfish are holding up in these spots. I think a lot of these redfish are in these areas because this is where it is best for them in this stage in their life cycle.
Well, it looks like the Air Force might be holding all our redfish. There's a lot of really good information in this research report, a lot of really good stuff, and it also talks about what happens to a lot of those redfish after they're caught and released. That's pretty cool. They talked about methodology, the baits, etc., etc. This is the kind of stuff that can really give you an insight on what's going on. Tampa Bay is such a huge area. It's pretty cool that we have a map like this to refer to so we can narrow down our search. It looks like in this video, they focused mostly on Hillsborough County and Manatee County. It looks like they didn't spend quite as much time in Pinellas County. That may be because a lot of Pinellas County is developed. We have Fort DeSoto Park and some of Boca Ciega Bay is protected. You've got Weeden Island and Feather Sound is a little more natural up there. But according to this map, there's far less research being done on the Pinellas side than there is on the Manatee and Hillsborough side of the bay. Well, I'm seeing some cool new information for me in this chart, and I really like the idea of getting up and exploring some of these new areas. I want to see what kind of redfish are hiding around here in this coming spring. I want to go check out a couple of these different zones and see what I can do. So what did you think of this chart? Did you think this is going to help you catch more redfish? I think you can take this data tomorrow and go scout some areas and you'll find some redfish. Thanks for coming to this video's tutorial. Be sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification button to keep up with all the videos I got coming out for you. We got a lot more content coming. I'm trying to put out a lot more videos to help you become a better fisherman. And now it's time for this episode's expert advice. After you return from a long day of inshore fishing, be sure you take your rods and reels and dunk them in the water at the boat ramp. That'll get all the salt air residue off them that's been collecting all day.
Every time someone subscribes, I get an extra nugget. Give me nuggets.